This week on Business Mike, the business of a co-working space. My guest today is Modupe Odunyemi. She's the founder and CEO of Capital Square, a co-working space in Lagos, Nigeria. In today's show, we discuss the benefits of a co-working space compared to a regular office, as well as Modupe's experience as an entrepreneur at Capital Square. All this and more next on Business Mike.
You're listening to the Business Mike podcast, amazing interviews with inspiring entrepreneurs. Subscribe on iTunes and Stitcher Radio for a brand new episode every Monday. For more amazing interviews, go to www.businessmike.com or sign up for our weekly newsletter by simply sending an email to subscribe@businessmike.com.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Business Mike. My name is Daudi and joining me today is Modupe. Modupe, welcome to the show.
Hi, Daudi. Thanks for having me.
Right. Why don't you just start us off by briefly telling us about yourself and what you do?
Okay. Hi, my name is Modupe Odunyemi, and I'm the founder of Capital Square. Capital Square is a co-working space in Lagos, Nigeria. I think we were the first proper co-working space.
Right. And what inspired you to start Capital Square? Was there a demand that you noticed?
Well, I like to say that I was my first customer, so I pretty much started Capital Square for myself. I needed a space to work, and I had read about co-working spaces earlier. Thing is, on the side, I also do a bit of identity design and like website design, branding, copywriting. So I wanted to focus on that business, but I needed a space to work. And because I'd read up about co-working spaces, I thought, okay, it'd be cool to find a space like this for other people like me and to create one. So that's pretty much how it started.
Right. And did you have a particular type of people that you were targeting, maybe techies or something along those lines? Because most co-working spaces, from my experience, seem to be people who are leaning towards the technology side. Is that what your working space looks like at the moment, or is it mixed and varied?
It's mixed. To be honest, when I was starting it, I really thought there'd be a lot of techies, and then maybe people like copywriters, so freelancers really, and then one or two startups. That was what I was imagining the space would be. But what we have now, yes, we do have the techies, and we do have a couple of startups, and we do have the freelancers, but then we also have a bit more established businesses that have been around for, say, over 3 years. And what we find that there's a lot of is that some companies which are bigger, but maybe not big enough to have their own offices or have sort of a distributed workforce, end up having their staff work out of Capital Square. So.
All right, and can you just paint a picture for us? How big is Capital Square, and how many people do you currently have in that area?
Okay, so Capital Square, the physical space is about 260 square meters, and it can take. We have a few private offices. We have 3 private offices, and then we have the big open plan co-working space. The open plan space can take about 21 people working at any one time. We also have a conference room that sits 8, a small meeting room that sits about 3 people. We have a seminar room that can sit up to about 35. But then when there's nothing going on in that room, it's sort of an overflow workspace. So for whenever the main workspace is full, or if people just feel like working in a different environment, they work out of the seminar room. Generally, every day we have an average of about 20 people working in 20 people in the main workspace, and in the private offices, that brings that up to about 26 people. General members, that's people who pay passes plus our monthly members, and the people who use here as a virtual address. We have close to 200 people registered as members on our system. So that's what Capital Square is like.
Right. So when you say you have 200 members registered, does that mean that those 200 people have to schedule days on which they come and use the office space, or how does that work?
Okay, so, a lot of the people who register just use the space as a virtual office, meaning they use our office address and they get mail, and then they can use our office for meetings. So they schedule meetings if they're having it. And then there are some other people who are registered who may not live in the area but use Capital Square once in a while when they're coming, maybe when they're around and they just need to work. So they're sort of flex members. That's what we call them.
And how different is a co-working space from a traditional office? And by that I mean your co-working office space must be having some advantages that you're offering people that maybe a traditional office wouldn't. What are some of the benefits of renting a space with you versus the traditional office?
Okay, so the biggest benefit I would say is cost saving, especially if you're a small company or small office. You would spend less if you're working from Capital Square because you're pretty much only paying for what you need. So if you're on a day pass, you're only paying for the days you come in. If you know you're going to be coming in, very frequently during the month, then you can pay for a whole month and use that. And then the months that maybe you're not in town, you don't have to pay. You don't have to pay to come in. What else? There's just the advantage of being able to face your work. So what we do at Capital Square is we don't just say office space, it's office space and then all the sort of amenities you need. So there's constant power, there's constant internet, there are meeting rooms, there's maintenance, so there's always cleaning, there's we don't have a full kitchen here, but then we have an office assistant that we can send to get lunch. So all that is built in. There's a receptionist, so you're saving cost of, you don't have to pay for your own receptionist at your office, and then you're saving time because you don't have to worry about all the overheads. You paid one flat fee and take care of everything.
Right, and when it comes to the management of everything, do you have a team that helps you, or do you do everything yourself?
No, I have a team that works here. I have someone working at the reception. There's Lillian who works with admin, so she helps make sure everything is running all the time. Funny enough, we're an all-woman team, which I think is pretty cool. And yeah, so we do have a team in here making sure everything works every day.
Right, and the reason why I asked if you have a team is because managing a business like that one can be a bit complicated, especially when it comes to things like trying to ensure that your clients have internet as well as electricity and certain items like that. So are there any challenges that you still face as a business despite running it as a team?
Oh yes, definitely. There are always challenges. Well, I guess the biggest thing, just because of the nature of the business, is making sure everything works all the time. If you know anything about Nigeria, you know that we're probably notorious for not having things working. So that's just one huge thing. Making sure that there's always internet, making sure there's a backup, making sure, we have something like water running. So just all that. And then the cost of doing this. And power was another huge challenge for us because power is really bad here. So we have to make sure that there's a generator. They're just alternate. We have about 3 alternative power sources in case there's no power from the grid. Then also just keeping the community together, because it's very easy to fall into Capital Square as just an office space and then leave all the community aspect out of it, because at the basis of what we are, at the foundation is it's office space and office amenities. But then Capital Square, we want to be different, and we are being different by focusing really on our community. So making sure that there are activities going on, things that can better the businesses and the lives in general of people who work from here.
What kind of activities are those?
We have workshops. Like just today we had a workshop on video production for marketers and bloggers. We have small business clinics. So those we invite a professional, either in accounting or law or a general business consultant, to come and answer questions. So it's personalized accounts consulting or personalized small business consulting for whoever comes in. We have little lunches that we do. We have breakfast club where we invite an entrepreneur, someone who's been in the business a while and has sort of made a name for themselves, to have a little breakfast with some of our members and some of our contacts so we can share ideas and network. So it's not just the space, it's doing things that can help businesses grow, either by linking them up with contacts or providing some sort of education or helping them to promote their businesses. So we also do a quarterly demo day, which is a day where some of our members and then our contacts, we just invite people generally to come and share their ideas and their startups and pitch to everyone to get feedback and then, to grow their customer base, to maybe meet a few investors. So things like that is what we do, and it's something that we're really focusing on this year to increase the number of events and all these programs we have, and to add more value to our customers and our members other than space.
Right, and these extra activities or breakfasts and talks, are those things that people who are members of the Capital Square have to pay for in addition to the rent?
Some are free, some are paid, but then we always give a discount to our members. So even if they're paid, then our members would pay less than people who are not members of Capital Square.
Right, so the events are open to everyone. It's just that those people that are members of Capital Square get a discount for being members.
Yes.
Right, and how old is Capital Square? How long have you been running the business?
About 2.5 years.
And in that period, are there any lessons that you've learned through that experience that you can maybe transfer to another business?
I think it's just general business lessons as opposed to just, Capital Square lessons. But always, I guess, from setting up and from running it, always assume that you always end up spending more than you assume. So plan properly and then hire well. I've done a lot of hiring since we started. And there are some times that you just make bad decisions. There are some times that you hire someone. So I think it's just hire well. Really, really pay attention to the people that you hire to help run your business.
What key things do you look out for when you're hiring? You mentioned you had a few people that you had who are disappointing. Now that you went through that experience, what things do you look out for during an interview that perhaps aren't necessarily on paper?
I think for me, what I've realized now is that for me the most important thing is fit, culture fit. Do they fit in with the community we have on ground? Are they people that will get it? Because Capital Square is really a co-working space. Pretty much is a customer facing sort of thing. You're constantly interacting with people. So you need someone that fits in the community, that isn't shy, that can get things going. I need someone that is a doer. So someone that gets things done. People who are self-starters, people who are very comfortable with finding answers for themselves. So I think in any startup, not just a co-working space, but in any startup, you need people on your team who know how to get things done and who will do whatever it takes to find answers to things. So not someone who would, wait for you to tell them what to do, but people who see a problem and go out and look for a solution. So I'm talking about someone who, anything that comes up, Google the answer. If you don't know it, Google it. That's the kind of person that I look out for, someone who gets things done and someone who can show a track record of getting things done, someone who's quick, pretty much. I don't know if I'm passing my message across, because it's not really something that you can sort of quantify, but you know it when you see it.
Right. Okay. Do you have a favorite failure? Basically, a moment that taught you a lesson that you otherwise wouldn't have learned, but by going through that experience of failing, you'd learn something valuable.
You know the phrase, if you build it, they will come.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a lie. So that is what I've learned. That if you, the fact that you built it and that you have a good product doesn't guarantee that anybody is going to buy it or anybody is going to come, rushing. You have to push it and you have to sell it and you have to make it attractive to people. So it might be good and they might, after having that experience, they might love it. But you need to do the work to get them to come in. And you need to really understand who you're targeting, who you're talking to. I say that because when we were starting Capital, when I started Capital Square, I had that idea that, yes, I'm going to build a co-working space and people are looking for workspace. So if they see it, they will come. But I didn't think about how to get them to see it. I just, and which is good. It's always good to focus on your product and know that you've built something well. But you have to remember that marketing is the second most important thing, if not more important than your product, which I guess is what these Twitter and Facebook, these social media startups know. They know how to push and whether it's adding value or not, and whether, I don't think anyone ever thought they needed Twitter before Twitter showed up, but these startups found a way to put it in front of our faces and somehow we're all hooked. So things like that, we need to market and we need to sort of grow a following, and remember that product iterations can come over time. So you can keep getting your product, done over time, but marketing is something that from the start has to be, that's what I've learned.
And do you have a favorite moment in your 2 years at Capital Square?
Yes, the day we launched. That was, I know it's very cliche, but I was so happy the day that I could, invite people and say we've done this, because it was a huge project for me. It's the biggest thing I've done till date, because when I started Capital Square, I was just out of school, so I didn't have any work experience. I didn't have any of that. I was just 23 and just finished masters, and I decided to forgo the whole, regular employment and start a co-working space. So the day we launched was one of my happiest days about this business. And every happy day is a day that anytime a member tells me, I'm so glad that this place exists, I love Capital Square, is a day that makes me very happy, pretty much.
Okay, Capital Square is actually a unique name. Why did you decide to name this co-working space Capital Square?
Pretty much, I just liked it. I just liked the sound of it. I wanted a name that would show some sort of activity, that it's a busy place that stuff goes on. So I thought, okay, it'd be nice to call it something square, because I was thinking about Trafalgar Square and Times Square and places like that, iconic places that are hubs of activity. There's stuff always going on. So I said, yes, this should be something square. And I'm not entirely sure how Capital came along, but I remember probably my mom, I was talking to her and she said, why not Capital? And I said, yeah, Capital Square, that sounds good. And yes, that's how the name came along.
That's very interesting. I just want to cycle back to something you mentioned earlier about the challenges you are having. Your business is a high-cost business. Obviously, you have to deal with things like power and electricity and so on, which means the rate at which you get money from your members has to be constant. So I was wondering how you design your payment structure. Do people pay you before they come into the space, or do they pay after they've after like a month, something of the sort?
They pay before. So everyone always, if you're coming in for a deal, you pay at the reception before you go into the workspace. If you're doing a monthly plan, you pay before. Sometimes when we've had members, after the first month, it might take a while before the next payment comes in, but we always do reminders. So we send you a reminder a week before your next bill is due. We send you a reminder a day before your next bill is due. So So you're sort of expecting it. So most people generally pay on time, because I think that's the only way it would work. Nigerian society is generally that way. You pay before service. So
Right, final question. If you were cast away onto a desert island, what book would you take with you? What movie would you take with you? And what song would you take with you?
What book? Would I have my phone?
Yeah, if you want to take it, sure, no problem.
Okay, so if I had my phone, I'd have my Bible on the phone, which is good. So I would take another book, and I'd probably take Jane Eyre, because that's my favorite book. What movie would I take with me that I'd probably want to see again and again and not get tired? Probably Lion King. The Lion King, the first one. I think I could see that a million times. And what was the last thing?
A song.
A song. If I could take a song with me, would probably be either Coldplay or Beyonce. I can't pick.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Modupe, for taking the time to share your story with us. We appreciate all the experience and knowledge you've passed on to us. And how can people learn more about yourself or Capital Square on either your website or social media?
Okay. Thanks for having me, Dowdy. So if you want to reach Capital Square, social media, that's Twitter and Instagram, it's at Cap Square. So at CAPSQR at Cap Square. On Facebook is Capital Square Lagos. Capital Square is one word. And our website is www.capitalsquare. So it's www.capitalsqua.re.
Well, thank you once again, Modupe, for taking the time, and we wish you the very best with Capital Square.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Business Mike podcast. I hope you enjoyed the show. If you'd like to listen to more episodes just like this one, simply go to businessmike.com. I would love to hear from you. So if you've got any questions or feedback, you can reach me on Twitter at Dowdy Mugabe, on Facebook at Business Mike, or email. That's dowdy@businessmike.com. Don't forget, we have a brand new episode every Monday. And until then, take care.